We're live. Woohoo! Hi, Susan.
Hi, I'm so excited. We're
Me
here.
too. Me too. Here we are after so much planning of our first Substack live. This is so exciting. I mean, since I have not done anything like this since my podcast, which it's been a minute. It's been a minute for those of you joining. I used to have a podcast called Brand F Ups, and I would often be interviewing founders. It was like my thing. I loved doing it. But I stopped it a few months ago. And so I haven't done anything like this. And it's been great. It's been great to be
Really,
planning this.
I love it.
So exciting. Okay. So for those of you who are just joining, maybe you're new to me or new to Susan, let me do a brief intro for both of us. So I am Robin Young. I am the author of Build Your Brand Universe and the founder of Young & Co., where I help founders and founder-led teams avoid the plight of shallow scale and build magnetic brand ecosystems that draw in their diehard fans. Susan is one of those brand ecosystems that I have recently had the pleasure of working alongside. So, Susan is the founder and creative director of Hazelmade. Through Hazelmade, Susan channels her love of stories into creating meaningful objects that turn fleeting moments into ones that last. So, a little bit of context before our live officially kicks off today. Susan and I met at an event in Palm Springs called the Alt Summit, which, for those of you who are creative entrepreneurs in the LA area, you will probably know the Alt Summit. Um, Shout out to Alt and the whole community. Shortly after we met there, we began working on rediscovering her brand identity. So today's talk is a behind the scenes look at that experience. What was that like from Susan's point of view? So I'm going to kick things off, Susan, by just starting with, can you talk to us a little bit about where was your business at before you and I met? What was keeping you up at night?
Ugh, such a good question. It's really easy to answer looking back because in the moment there was a lot. What was keeping me up at night was the fact that I was stuck in the middle of my business. And I had heard so many different directions on this, like you can't build a brand while being in a brand and all of these different things that we hear. I didn't understand that's why I was drowning. I was so stuck in the center of everything. We had tried an extensive Google Drive with how to's and templates and instructionals and all of these different elements, different resources as far as like maybe Monday.com will fix the problem. Maybe this will fix the problem. Maybe that'll fix the problem. And we just couldn't seem to get out of what we were stuck in. And it was hard to know what you're stuck in while you're stuck in it.
Right.
And it was really the problem was that we weren't clear on who Hazelmade was. Nobody was clear on that. I think there was some magnet that was drawing people in and was keeping them around a little bit, but there was a lot of confusion around that. And then as far as from my standpoint of being the founder and then also essentially managing a team, I felt like I was constantly micromanaging, which was really uncomfortable for me. It's not what I want to do. I don't feel like that's my natural go-to, but because no one knew what we were doing, how we were doing it, who are we doing it for, everything had to be run by me because people were really unsure. And I felt that tension. I felt it from everyone who had been on my team all along the way. And that felt really uncomfortable. And that was keeping me up at night. And it was keeping me up that I was so busy because I was signing off on things that, I mean, everything,
Yeah.
uh, and was just buried really in
Do
that.
you feel that you knew that it was a brand identity problem before our conversation, though? Or did our conversation highlight that for you?
Absolutely not. Did not know. Our conversation did highlight it. Yes, that's what I mean. I
Yeah.
absolutely did not know that it was a brand issue.
Right.
When I met you, so my background is in branding, but the visual side of things.
Right.
And with as much experience and education as I had, I didn't actually understand that strategy was different. And so when I met you, I was like, "Cool, Robin, I do that. I've got that." But you were really nice, and I remember we you sort of didn't let it go. You were like, "Let's get coffee, let's get lunch, let's at the conference." And so we finally did sit down for lunch. And I was like, maybe something about this sounds a bit useful. And so we did have that follow-up call, and I was still really skeptical. It's very difficult for me to change my mind about something, and, it was really Jackie, my operations manager, who pushed to sign up and give it a try, and we did the work and we showed up for it, and it completely blew my mind how, "Oh, this was the problem the whole time." But it's really easy to get confused about, like, well, I have the visuals, I have that part.
Yeah.
That's a very, very hard thing, especially with someone who I probably should have known. I really should.
Not necessarily. I mean, I have spoken with CEOs of eight-figure businesses who are like, "I have no idea what brand strategy is." So, no, and it's a really common problem, a really common challenge because if you think about it, a brand identity, like, above and beyond just the visual components of it, is intangible. So you're never going to think that it's this intangible thing. Think about it. Like, the things that you were looking at to try and solve the problem were all tangible things. They were all very, like, operational things. But the clarity and confidence that you have in what exactly is in bounds and what is out of bounds, that I it's so hard to articulate to people how important that is, how that affects at a macro level and at a micro level. So, I'm so happy that you were open to that exploration, and love to Jackie, oh my god, for pushing you gently pushing you in that direction. Every now and again, there's a right-hand person behind the founder that's just like, "Hey, let's try this." And, like, appreciation to those people.
Man,
Um,
Jackie knows, Jackie knows. So I feel like that, and I mean, we had said, like, "Let's just try 1 month," and I think we ended up doing a couple because it was just so valuable what we were getting out of it.
I
Yeah.
love it, I love it, and then revisited later for talking about
I
how to
know.
amplify it. Oh my god, I can't wait. We will share more about what's coming up for Hazelmade in just a moment, but let me take you back still. So, I identity work, it can be so daunting when you've had a business for as long as you had Hazelmade. So, tell me a little bit about what was this experience like for you as somebody who had already had the brand for 12 years? Is that right?
11 or 12 when we started. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Tell me what that was like for you.
I think it was difficult because I was worried that you were gonna tell me who to be, because we had hired other folks to sort of help get us out of this in the past. It had always been, "This is who you should be." And so what I always tell people when, describing this process to them, what I thought was really interesting is that you actually don't tell us anything. Um, and so instead of this being you driving the process is driving us through it. And so there's a lot of work. It was a lot of work, and it's very time consuming on our end. But I think that was really helpful to see that. I like to describe it as you sort of just took Hazelmade and sifted out all the noise, because you do collect as a solo entrepreneur, you do collect a lot of noise along the way.
Yeah.
You really collect a lot of stuff that you should be doing, that everyone wants to tell you what you should do, and so you collect all of that, and it just starts to cloud what you were doing, why you were doing it. Um, I think for us, when we finished, you said, like, something along the lines of, like, "Go back to one of the first pieces that you created in year 1, and I don't care what piece you look at, and you'll see some of these words that we're using today in those pieces." And I did, it was in our first catalog. So it's really was just sifting out all of that noise and creating that confidence and that clarity so that everyone can understand. Every decision is so much easier. I think about the website that we just launched, which we did after we finished our process. I was very, I was involved in that project, but not really. So, my communications lead, Carrie, took the lead on that one, working with an external partner who helped build the website. And Jackie was in on some of those meetings as well. But I barely had to show up because we had the strategy, we had the clarity, everyone understood exactly what this website should look like, who it's speaking to, how it should be talking, what we wanted to do with it. We were doing a lot of things that were very different from a traditional product-based website. Our web developer was constantly stopping and saying, "Oh, this is different. This is fun. Okay, let's figure out how to do this," because we didn't want to show up in that sort of traditional way that you should show up as a business like ours online.
Right.
So that was really a fun project to see it come so beautifully together, and I couldn't I mean, it's stunning. It's everything about it is beautiful. The
I
writing is
love it.
yes,
So
and
good.
I can confidently sit here and say that because that was this team that did it, and I wasn't really required to be a part of the process, and so that's such a massive project, a massive investment, so much time. I think it was 3 to 6 months of time put into that, and because we had that strategy, I mean, before brand strategy, certain emails couldn't be written without someone saying, "Is this how we do this?" And then we were able to build an entire website r from scratch. That is amazing.
Wild, right? Wild. Like, it's funny because I don't often talk about this as being part of the impact of brand strategy, because if I did, people would be like, Yeah, yeah, like, there's no way that this thing you're gonna do with me for 2 months is gonna solve all of these problems." So I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna hold back on that. I'm gonna let
Wait.
you figure it out." Yeah, just wait, just you wait. As you know, I get so incredibly passionate about these things because I know the impact. I've gone through this 100 times. So I know that it's coming, and it's like, as long as I can get you through that muddle in the middle, that frustration of like, "Oh god, I have to redo this thing yet again." But
Mhm.
can I just say, and we didn't, even though, yes, we do work on websites and, do copywriting or whatever, we didn't even work on Hazelmade's site, and it is stunning. I remember when you and Jackie sent it to me, I was like, "Yes." I was so pleased with how the brand point of view came across in this very important touch point within your brand. So, well done. Well done, you and all of the team, for
Yeah.
completely getting it right. Well done.
It's,
Um,
yeah,
for
I
sure.
love
For sure. Okay, so what is one thing that you and your brand have accomplished that would not have happened without the brand strategy work, besides the besides the website? We've interchanged the website, yes, and it's stunning. And I also, by the way, put it in the notes here in the live chat so that you all could appreciate where we're at too. But what's something else? Maybe something unexpected.
I'm gonna have to say Substack. We just launched our Substack. It's called Return Address. We had the other problem before was not only was I buried in the middle of things, my team was as well, and they were constantly responding to the threshold of work that we had and weren't able to be creative or think of new things. We had talked about Substack, and it had always so Carrie is, she does my marketing and communications, and she joined a little over a year ago, and when she first started, it was around the time that I was going to Alt Summit, and I had said, "If you wanna look at these what they're offering as far as like the sessions. There's one on Substack. I don't know, like maybe we should have one of those things." And she was like, "Oh gosh, we have too much on our plate. Like we can't." And then as we buried ourselves out of these things and where everyone was able to, write an email without having to ask me like if it was right or the tone was right and write newsletters and then do their jobs without running everything by because if there's we had that clarity. She recently came to me and said, like, I really can see how we could start taking some of these shorter essays we're doing through our newsletter and our blog. And here's this vision that I have for Substack. An entire pitch. Like she was able to find a new platform for us, which by the way is such a great match for who we are and how we want to show up and create an entire pitch of what we wanted to do with this space and how we wanted to create these pieces on there. Um, that to me is like to see her energy and her excitement and the fact that my brand can now bring like that joy and creativity to other people. Like, yes, that's all you ever want. And we were so buried in the day to day before we couldn't do that. I don't know, like, if this Substack isn't good, it's not a it doesn't have an ROI for us. It doesn't have those elements to it, it's just something that just speaks to who we are as Hazelmade. It gives us a new material to work with, and we're excited about just that aspect of it, and to see that energy behind it is really exciting.
Yes, yeah. Yes, return address. I put the link also in the live chat here. I encourage all of you to go and subscribe. One of the things that I have loved about this brand point of view is the return to like slow, just meaningful moments. And I think this is something that as we were going through this process together, Susan and I are really we just resonated. We had this moment, this connection where it's like, yes, yes, just talking about these things. And now anytime that I use like the special plates or these like, I just inherited some beautiful glasses from my grandma on my mother's side. And it's so funny, like, the times I think twice about using them because it's just like, I'm just here by myself. There's nobody over. Like, why am I gonna use this, potentially run the risk of breaking it, like, just for a glass of wine? And it is the sheer experience of, just getting to embody this brand with you has made me think twice about that. And isn't that what having a brand is about? It's not just about the products you sell. It is about fundamentally changing and shifting the way that somebody experiences life. So I
Mhm.
have to just commend you for like really leaning into that because I think that as much as I can help somebody get to that clarity and confidence, the conviction really comes from living that day in and day out, getting the rest of your team to live that day in and day out. So well done you. Well done you.
I love it.
Um,
Good glass every
the
time.
glasses, the glasses every time. I can't even. I encourage all of you on the phone, use the good plates.
Yeah.
That, by the way, is the name of an actual article from Return Address. Again, highly recommend everybody subscribe to Susan's Substack, please. Okay, so since working together, what is the brand touch point you've created that you are most proud of or most excited about?
Mm. Well, answered this question the other day, by saying I love creating social media, Instagram content for my business. It's a prize for me at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And, it was in front of some other, business owners, and they were like, "Wait, what are we talking about?"
She didn't just say Instagram content and that she loves it.
And you love it, and it's the prize, like, after you do all of the other things, then you get to do that on Friday.
Yeah.
Tell me more, please. But what I love about it is that we aren't chasing those trends. I actually don't even worry about audio anymore. That stressed me out so much in the past, and it doesn't align with who we are. We want you to slow down. We want you to take a deep breath. We don't want to use trending audio, and that's okay. Um, so the Instagram, because we have so much clarity now with what we're doing on our communications, we have this flow that goes from our what I'm doing on Instagram. So I actually still hold that piece. It's important to me that that is more of like a glimpse into my workspace, my sketchbook, my process, who I am as a person. That's how we want to utilize that space. I actually really enjoy again creating that content. So that's what we're doing there. And then I'm pulling from the ideas that we're going to be circulating through our newsletter, our blog, now our Substack. Those are ideas that we're using and different print pieces maybe that month as well. So there's just like a lot of harmony and connection between what we're doing across all of these marketing platforms. And so they don't even really feel like marketing. We're picking something that we're passionate about. So I believe it's next month we're going to be focusing on the concept of the artist. And so everything that we talk about, it's not about what tea towel is selling best or what note card you should buy, but more how this is a brand based in an artist and how are other artists inspiring me. And so that's what we choose to talk through in all of these different points that we're using. And it just feels really natural and it feels really exciting. We used to have the meetings where we would discuss like, okay, what newsletters are getting written, what's going on the blog, etc. When are you going to do social media? Are you going to do social media this month? Those sorts of things. And it was sort of a slog for everyone, but now I think Carrie and I both look forward to those meetings. We often are saying like, "Oh, we're supposed to meet at 11, but do you wanna meet, like, now? I'm excited." We're, like, excited to sit down and talk about it, which I don't know, what else do you want as a business owner?
Right,
Nothing
right.
really.
That, by the way, like, never happens. Like, never. Most of the founders that I talk to dread the idea because the thought process is always like, "Oh, I've gotta create content. Like, I've gotta stay relevant. I have to stay out there. I have to keep feeding the algorithm." And I think it's such a tactic-driven response. It's when you're thinking in terms of tactics and not in terms of extending your brand universe, right? And in terms of building this brand world where your ideal audience can play. It can make it feel like such a sludge. You just don't want to do it because it's not inspiring to you. The thing I always like to remind clients is if it's not inspiring to you, it will definitely not be inspiring to anybody else. It
No.
is, by the way, such a good barometer for those of you who are listening. If there are things in your brand that you're doing right now that you think to yourselves like, "Oh God, I don't even want to do it." Like, be true to that. Listen to that part of your heart that's telling you that because it's a sign. It is a sign. It doesn't mean that you just completely close it. It means that you may need to go through a similar process where you're rediscovering the bits and pieces of your brand that are actually sticky. And I am really just there to help a founder and to help a team go through that process because it can be really scary. It can be really challenging to look at your brand objectively like that when you've been living and breathing it for so long. But it is honestly some of the most rewarding work that I can possibly do.
Mhm.
Okay, amazing. What or how has your relationship and your attitude towards your brand changed since working together?
Um, well, I wanna show up more, honestly. So, when I hit year 10, so this is currently year 12 for us. So, when I hit year 10, everybody was so excited. I had made that milestone that, I guess everyone was waiting for, and I didn't
Yes.
see coming. Because honestly, I was waiting to fail. Like, I think that we can all relate to that as well. Like, you're just, when is this gonna fail? And so year 10 was really hard for me, and I was just like, "I don't know if I can keep pushing this thing up this hill for another 10 years. Like, is this what we're gonna do all over again? This is nuts. I can't keep going at this pace." But I
Mm,
didn't know how to get out of it. And a huge piece of that was doing this strategy work with you and getting it unwound from me and getting a team in place, um, that was able to support and to drive and to take pieces of this and run with it. Um so I'm excited about the next 10 years of Hazelmade because it's brought a lot of love back to it for me. I'm also getting out of the middle of the day to day in many ways and able to do things that I'm really excited about as far as different mentoring opportunities. I do a lot with my local community, helping with other businesses or students, doing a lot more networking, just getting out of the studio, talking to more people, getting excited about what that next opportunity is, and being able to say yes to some of the crazy stuff that I would have never been able to have that conversation, let alone say yes to before because I was so stuck and so buried in everything. Um, we're doing an event at the end of this month here locally. It's called The Longest Table. They did the event last year. My city sponsored it in an organization we have that's called Main Street Kent. They help with the vitality in downtown businesses. So they hosted last year, and I actually didn't hear about it until it was too late to sign up for a table, but it's just one long table. They close down the bridge downtown, and there's one long table, and people just bring their picnic or their takeout, and the community eats at the longest table. So you can have one in any city. It's a nationwide nonprofit. Look it up, have one. They're great. I didn't have a table because I was too late last year, but I just like could not stop thinking about this event. It's just so me.
yeah.
And also so Hazelmade. So I just showed up with a box of tea towels, like some of our seconds that we had, and just started putting them on tables last year. And they were like, "Are you sponsoring?" I was like, "No, I just want to like be here and do something." And I got
Guerrilla
invited
style.
to yeah, just I guess really guerrilla style. But and then I got invited to sit at someone's table, which is the whole spirit of this event of like, we have an extra chair, just sit down. So this year I approached the city and Main Street Can and was like, I really like, can I co-host with you guys? So I'm excited about this. It's happening again. I created a special design for the event.
Oh my god, I love the towel. Is it already on the site somewhere
It
or can
is. We are doing
okay.
pre-orders and they close soon. So they're just search for the longest table on their website. You'll find the towel. It's going to be a limited edition design, and it was really fun to make. Really
It
fun.
is such
So
a cute design. I'm obsessed, you guys. I will be going on and buying this directly after our Substack. I will be. It's really, really cute. Listen, I think that this is a whole other angle too that we haven't really talked about. And a lot of times when you've gotten into business, you've been in business for a minute, you're going to partner with other brands. I mean, there's only so many ways that you can continue to sort of stoke interest in your brand. So partnering with other brands becomes incredibly important. Can you talk a little bit, Susan, about how did you know, or maybe the better way to ask this question is, what about our process together has allowed you to make more informed decisions about who you want to partner with in the future, whether it's other brands or influencers or what have you?
oh gosh, a really great example actually came up the other day.
Mm,
So once a week we meet, Jackie, Carrie, and I meet, just go over all the housekeeping for the week. And I had gotten this ad, which now everyone on this will get this ad, but that's this it should partner with DoorDash because then people can you're we they DoorDash seems to understand there's this hurdle for local pickups. And we
yeah.
do. We like kind of struggle with like how do we're a studio, we're not a retail space. How do we do that? We want to do it, we don't know. And so I kept getting this ad. And so I brought it up in our meeting and Jackie cut me off and said, DoorDash does not seem very on brand for Hazelmade. It's the opposite of slow. And
Literally in the name.
yeah, and then that was
Yeah.
it, and we moved on, and we're not doing it. And before we would, "Well, should we? I don't know. Someone look into the app. How much is it? What's this, that, the other?" It was she just stopped me right away, and I was like, "Absolutely, you're 100% right." So, it just that's a really simple answer. There's been some complicated things that we've had to tackle that, how do we wanna show up for our community and for those in our community that we wanna show support and love for.
Mm,
Um, those are difficult conversations, but we know how to do that now too with confidence.
yeah.
Um, it's just I mean, there's just no other way to say it than everything is so much easier, and I, like, want to say that I wish we had done it sooner, but I don't think we would have had as much success if we had. I think every point, matters along the way, and, uh, I'm just so grateful because it's just so much easier, just so much less stress around these decisions and, like, less meetings because people don't have to ask as many questions, and we don't have to talk for 30 minutes if we're gonna do DoorDash. That's not we're not doing it, so,
Right, right. Well, and what's funny is you can always blame it on the brand. I mean, there's something really great about the fact that you can blame it on the brand though.
Mhm.
When you do that tough work of saying this is everything that we are not and this is everything that we are, suddenly the decision doesn't just fall on your shoulders anymore. You now have this North Star. You now have this vetting system that allows you to go to make informed business decisions, not just branding decisions, because it impacts your reputation, which impacts your brand, right? We all know that a brand is not a logo, it's not a slogan, it's not the look and feel of this beautiful website. That's all the branding. That's the ways that they are amplifying what their identity actually is. But the hard work of figuring out exactly what your brand is, that's something that you really have to take the time to decide. And it's a lot of removing things that do not belong anymore. So Amazing. I love that story, especially because DoorDash, it seems like such a great opportunity, but I see how it can be like, "Ooh, do we choose that? Do we not choose that?" I'm glad that you guys decided not to. Susan,
Mhm.
any final parting words, anything that we might want to share with people who might be struggling with this exact challenge right now, founders who might be in the room who might need those words of encouragement? Do you have anything to share with them?
Oh, keep going. Just keep showing up and doing it. Um, Everyone loves to tell you how to create your business, how to grow your business, how to change your business, and this, that, and the other. What's great about the process that we did together is that it just showed me that I did know what I was doing the whole time. The whole time. The whole dang time. I knew exactly what I was doing. And we didn't make it to year 12 for any other reason. So one of those decisions was choosing to work with you, and that was a great decision. But I think if you aren't quite there yet, or wherever you are in your business, just know that you know what you're doing, and there's a lot of noise, and that's difficult. But um, you know what you're doing, so keep doing it.
100%. I always say, like, Susan probably heard me say this too. It matters less that I believe in what you're building, right? It matters way more that you believe in it. Like, the facilitative process that I take is about driving that clarity and conviction in you, not in me. I can build any brand, but I know the realities and the implications of the business is you have to believe it. You have to be willing to get up every day and do the dang thing. Right? So I
Yeah.
try to just stoke the fires, or in this case, like unpack all the things that have accumulated over 12 years that have just become noise to like the heart and soul of this. So what a pleasure it has been to work with you and Carrie and Jackie and to have experienced Hazelmade brand. Thank you everyone for joining too. Susan,
Yeah.
thank you so much
Thank
for taking the
you.
time.
Thank you so much. This
Of
was so
course.
exciting. Thank
I
you.
know, my first Substack, hopefully not the last. All right, everyone, enjoy your Monday. Thank you so much again.
Bye.